Among more than 8 billion people on this planet, a handful defy every expectation. These are the individuals who don't just stand out, they leave you questioning what's possible. Some were born with conditions science still struggles to explain. Others developed abilities so rare, they seem unreal. And then there are those whose lives simply don't follow any known pattern. In this video, we'll take a closer look at 15 people who are truly beyond belief. Let's begin with number 15. 15. Axel Hahn. Axel Hahn is one of just 200 people alive with Cloves syndrome, a rare disorder that twists the body in severe, painful ways. From birth in 2022, doctors told his parents he'd never walk, speak, or live past 3. But Axel's still here. He's endured multiple surgeries, rounds of chemotherapy, and daily pain that most adults couldn't handle. His legs won't stop growing unevenly, and both will be amputated in 2025. He'll learn to walk again, this time with prosthetics. His parents, Sarah and Eddie, have sacrificed everything, raising funds online, driving long hours to specialists, and paying for private therapy. They don't want his childhood defined by a diagnosis. They want him laughing, learning, playing like any other child. For now, Axel doesn't know he's different, but one day he will. And when that moment comes, his parents want him to feel proud of everything he survived, not ashamed of how he looks. He didn't ask for this, but he deserves every good thing. 14. Charmaine Sahadeo. Charmaine Sahadeo, a mother of 2 from Trinidad, has lived with neurofibromatosis since childhood. But after her second son was born, the condition worsened. Thousands of painful tumors spread across her skin, distorting her face and weighing down one leg until she could barely stand. Her marriage fell apart. Employers stopped calling. Children stared, some ran, but Charmaine never hid. She shops for groceries. She smiles. She keeps going. 2 operations gave brief relief, but the tumors came back. Now she's reaching beyond her country, hoping a hospital abroad can offer what Trinidad's doctors could not. Her sons, Osiris and Caleb, love her fiercely, but even they hesitate to bring friends home. "I look like bubble wrap," she says, "but I still see beauty." She's not asking for sympathy. She's asking for a life, one where people don't flinch, one where she's not reduced to what she looks like. Charmaine isn't broken. She's just waiting for someone to see her truly her. 13. Verdant Johi. Verdant Johi, a young boy from Gujarat, was born with a right foot that weighs over 12 pounds and measures nearly a foot in length. Locals nicknamed him Bigfoot, not cruelly, but out of disbelief. Over 100 doctors have examined him. Some blame hormones. Others suspect Proteus syndrome. None agrees. None has helped. His father, Dilip, spent years and everything he had searching for answers. But no clinic has offered hope. The foot limits nothing. Verdant walks, even runs. But still, the school refused him. No shoes fit, so his family stitches their own from denim scraps. The worst wound isn't physical. It's the day he asked if this was punishment for something he did before birth. His parents carry that question silently. They're not chasing miracles. They just want someone, anyone, to look at their son and say, "We'll try." Until then, Verdant keeps moving forward, carrying more than weight, more than pain, carrying the silence no child should ever bear. 12. Suman Kumari. At 25, Suman Kumari lives alone in a single room in Delhi. She doesn't leave. She avoids mirrors. Her face, especially her jaw and cheeks, has swollen in ways no doctor can explain. Despite tests, biopsies, and scans, no one's given her a name for what's happening. Chewing hurts. Speaking is harder. Her vision is going. Years ago, she dreamed of becoming a doctor. But bullying drove her out of school. She stopped going out. Now she hides. Her mother lights candles every morning. Her father waits for news that never comes. They pray for surgery, even a diagnosis. Suman doesn't ask for beauty. She asks for normal, for the chance to walk outside without being stared at. "Maybe something will change," she says. Not bitter, just tired. She doesn't blame anyone. She just wants to be seen. Not judged, not pitied, just seen. She's not waiting for the world to open its arms. She just hopes it stops looking away. 11. Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene isn't trying to shock anyone. She's just not asking permission. Her body, inked and altered beyond recognition, is her decision, nothing else. Born in Mexico, Mary built a massive online following by doing what most won't. Full tattoo coverage, enormous breast implants, inflated lips. Then she went further, tattooing the whites of her eyes black. One surgery nearly killed her. She didn't stop. This isn't about followers, it's not performance, it's ownership. Mary's body has become both her canvas and her confrontation. Strangers stare, criticize, and question her sanity. She hears it all. It doesn't matter. She doesn't live for comfort. She lives to feel like herself. For Mary, every needle, every scar is a decision, not a mistake. Her look may disturb some. That's not her concern. She's not here to be explained. She's here to exist without apology. And whether people whisper or wonder, she isn't backing down. She didn't choose safety, she chose herself. 10. Morgan always knew something about her body didn't feel right. Born intersex, she was raised as a boy by her mother, even though she always felt more like herself in femininity. That disconnect stayed with her through childhood and into early adulthood, until she had the space to finally figure out who she was. When she met Curtis on a dating app, something clicked. They talked for hours. Days later, they both knew it was real. Their love didn't stop judgment. Strangers stared, online comments attacked. People questioned Curtis's identity simply because Morgan was intersex. Even her pregnancy was met with disbelief and cruel jokes. When they lost the baby, it broke their hearts, but not their relationship. They grew stronger. Morgan now shares her truth openly about her body, her grief, and her love. She's not trying to prove anything. She simply understands how many people feel unseen. And if her story gives just one person comfort, then she'll keep telling it. 9. Tiffany Adams. At 17, Tiffany Adams was in a car crash so violent that emergency crews believed she was dead. The other passengers were. She wasn't. She survived, barely, after 30 hours of surgery and weeks in a coma. When she woke, she learned her spine had shattered. She'd never walk again. She didn't give in. She fought her way forward, piece by piece. Today, she's a fitness model, a disability rights advocate, and someone who shows that strength has nothing to do with standing. Tiffany trains harder than most people without wheelchairs ever will. Her body changed, but her will didn't. She doesn't chase praise. She lives for herself. Every time she speaks, lifts, or rolls forward, she reminds people that resilience is not loud. It's earned in silence, behind closed doors with no one watching. Tiffany didn't wait for a second chance. She made one. And what she built after losing everything now stands taller than anything she had before the fall. 8. Melinda Bird. When Melinda Bird was born, her spine ended at her rib cage. Doctors warned she wouldn't speak, sit, or live past infancy. She did all three and more. Now in her 40s, Melinda rides ATVs, surfs, shoots rifles, and powers through life with unmatched upper body strength. She walks on her hands, uses a wheelchair, and refuses to let anyone limit her. She's fiercely independent and never asked for sympathy. But there's one thing she quietly longs for: love. In her Mormon community, marriage is expected, but she's never been kissed. She doesn't want pity or praise. She wants someone to see her fully. Her parents raised her without restrictions. Her brother treated her like everyone else. That's what made her fearless. Even now, with time pressing forward, she believes that someone out there will look past what's missing and see everything that's there. And when that moment comes, she'll be ready. Because Melinda never stopped believing she was worth it. 7. Erin Ball. In 2014, Erin Ball disappeared into the woods near Kingston, Ontario. She was missing for 6 days. By the time she was found, frostbite had ravaged her legs. Doctors had no choice but to amputate both below the knee. Recovery was slow. The grief came harder. But she didn't stay there. Erin built something new, on her own terms. She opened a fully accessible circus school where people of all abilities learn aerial silks. Today, she flips, climbs, and soars through the air with complete control. Her prosthetics don't limit her. They're part of what shaped her strength. She performs not for attention, but for joy. Watching her move doesn't inspire, it stuns. She isn't proving a point. She's living without hesitation. Her life changed without warning, but she built something from the pieces. And now, every student who once believed they couldn't do something walks through her door and learns otherwise. Erin doesn't talk about resilience. She lives it, loud, bold, and in flight. 6. Li Dao. At just 3 years old, Li Dao developed a tumor that began spreading across her face. By the time she was 15, it weighed 16 pounds, nearly 1/3 of her entire body weight, and threatened to block her airway. In her small Vietnamese village, treatment was out of reach. Through an international medical fund, she was flown to Miami, where doctors performed a grueling 12-hour operation. For the first time in years, she could breathe freely, eat without pain, and lift her head. The tumor was gone, but her scars remained. Now in her 30s, Li carries those marks with quiet strength. She never chased attention. She never demanded admiration. Her life was never about making a statement. It was about surviving what most couldn't imagine. She remembers what it felt like to be stared at, to be ignored, to be doubted. But she never stopped hoping, not even once. And that hope, more than anything, is what carried her through. 5. Alicia Almira. Alicia Almira didn't transform by chance. She chose it, deliberately and without apology. Born in Sweden, she calls herself a custom plastic doll. It's not a joke, it's her reality. Over $120,000 in procedures sculpted the body she always imagined. Exaggerated curves, artificial tan, face reshaped through fillers and surgery. Inspired by cartoon characters, Alicia never aimed for natural beauty. She wanted something artificial, bold and entirely hers. People judge. They say it's too much. Alicia doesn't flinch. She deleted the person she used to be and rebuilt herself without hesitation. She isn't afraid of aging. Bimbos don't age, she says. We just add more plastic. Her daughter knows the truth, and if she ever chooses surgery, Alicia won't stand in her way. This isn't rebellion. It's not for shock. It's a decision that makes her feel whole. Alicia never asked to be accepted. She's not trying to fit in. She's simply living in the body that finally feels like hers. 4. Jamie Poole. Jamie Poole has faced death 9 times. Born with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a condition where the heart muscle thickens and blocks blood flow, Jamie's heart has stopped without warning on 9 separate occasions. He's from the UK, where the condition is rare, but his case is even more extreme. For the past decade, he's lived with the reality that any heartbeat could be his last. There's no miracle cure, just fast medical intervention, solid instincts, and a personal refusal to quit. Jamie doesn't claim to be fearless, but he doesn't let fear run his life either. Each time he came back, it wasn't luck, it was determination. He knows what it means to be moments from nothing and still wake up again. He doesn't chase comfort. He lives fully because he knows what's at stake. For Jamie, survival isn't something that happened to him. It's something he fought for, over and over, until even death had to step back and wait. 3. Lincoln's body doesn't move much, but his mind never stops. He was born with X-linked myotubular myopathy, a condition that leaves him almost fully paralyzed. He breathes with a ventilator. He needs constant care. But don't mistake stillness for silence. Lincoln is alert, clever, and constantly engaged. His father makes sure he leads every conversation. No one speaks for him. His best friend Maddie treats him like any other kid, and that gives him more than any treatment ever could. He jokes through therapy, makes his mom do squats, and talks endlessly about science and Minecraft. His bed isn't tucked away in some quiet room. It's right in the center of the house, because that's where he belongs. Doctors never expected him to live past infancy. Now he's planning his bar mitzvah. He's not waiting to be included or explained. Lincoln doesn't want pity. He wants space. And once you give it to him, he'll take it with both eyes open. 2. Jacinto Bonia. Jacinto Bonia doesn't train for praise. He trains because it keeps him alive. At 86, he's known across New York as the grandfather of CrossFit, and he earns the name. On his 80th birthday, he performed 80 reps of every major movement. Deadlifts, push-ups, pull-ups, kettlebell swings, jump rope, squats, and wall balls. Then he finished with another 80 jumps. They call it the Hinto Storm. He's added a rep every year since turning 69. No shortcuts, no breaks, just steady work. Jacinto doesn't believe age takes strength. It only reveals who kept theirs. He isn't chasing records. He's proving that discipline doesn't expire. His form is clean. His mindset is sharper than ever. He shows up, lifts heavy, and walks out without a fuss. He doesn't talk about limits. He ignores them. Jacinto doesn't need to inspire anyone. But he does anyway, just by refusing to sit still. One rep at a time, he reminds the world that power never retires. 1. Stig Severinsen. Stig Severinsen doesn't aim to impress. He aims to understand what the human body can really do. The Danish freediver holds the world record for static breath holding, 22 minutes underwater, no oxygen. Most panic after 90 seconds. Stig trains to slow everything: pulse, thought, instinct. He swum under frozen lakes, glided across long distances on a single breath, and pushed further than science once believed was possible. But he's not performing for crowds. He's chasing calm. Stig believes we've forgotten how to breathe. We rush, we strain, we lose control. He teaches the opposite. Breathe deeper, slower, with intention. Scientists study him. Audiences stare. But Stig doesn't care who's watching. In the stillness, there's no applause, just silence. And the question, can you stay here? Most can't. Stig can. His ability isn't magic. It's practice, patience, and complete trust in his body. He isn't chasing limits. He's learning how to live just beneath them. And that's where he feels most alive. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you later.